We're doing part A now, dissolving the solid X in a large test tube in distilled water, then add more distilled water until it's about 2/3 full. So you add until the boiling tube is about 2/3 full. Stopper and shake the tube thoroughly. You're supposed to get a solution. That means we expect all the solid to dissolve. So then we get an orange or light brown solution, which we will use in parts B and C. Part B, we are supposed to take 4 cubic centimeters of this solution, put in the clean test tube. Next, we will add sulfuric acid, 4 cubic centimeters of it. We need to warm the solution so we can get ready the Bunsen burner first. Then now we will add the sulfuric acid, 4 cubic centimeters, about, and then we get a light yellow solution. We can add 3 to 4 pieces of granulated zinc. So that's the zinc. We should bear in mind that we are now adding a piece of metal to an acidic solution because we just added sulfuric acid. So we would expect to see bubbles, and then I'm going to do the lighted spin test. Because we understand that reactive metals like zinc would react with acid to produce hydrogen gas. So you should carry out the lighted spin test to test for the production of hydrogen gas. Here you see that the lighted spin extinguishes. It's likely that there isn't enough hydrogen that's produced to cause the pop sound. But we are quite certain that hydrogen was produced. We need to keep this mixture for parts D and E. Okay, so we need to ensure that we are clear about where we leave our test tubes, because later we're going to use this tube, come back to use this tube again. Now we are going on to part C, so we are going to use the solution from part A to take another 2 cubic centimeters of it, and then put in 2 cubic centimeters of and then put in some sodium hydroxide solution. So this is the classic typical cation test. So we add a few drops and we look out for a PBT if there is any, and we pay attention to the color, so we see very small PBT. Then now we add excess, half or 3/4 test tube, always shake to mix, and we see that the reddish brown PBT is insoluble in excess. That is C part 1. Next we go on to part 2. C part 2, we take another 2 cubic centimeters of the solution from part A. And we are going to add 1 to 2 drops of solution Y. So that's solution Y. Using the teat pipette, you can add 1 to 2 drops. Carefully add 1, 2 drops care about. Always shake to mix, and then you get this brown solution, dark brown solution. Next we go on to see part 3, still using the solution from part A. Another 2 cubic centimeters. We are going to add aqueous silver nitrate now, 5 to 10 drops of silver nitrate. Silver nitrate is the reagent we add to test for chloride ions. So we are on the lookout for a white PPT. Now the solution is already colored, is yellow. So what I'm looking out for is whether the white PPT, the white solid, will settle at the bottom of the tube. So if you do see that, which you should, then you should write white PPT in yellow solution. Next, we add aqueous ammonia. This is now back to the classic cation test. So add a few drops. Then you shake, and then now you see reddish brown PPT. Then you add excess, and then you shake to see if the reddish brown PPT is soluble or not. So that was part 3. We are going on to part D. We're going to use the tube from part B. Take 1 to 2 cubic centimeters of this solution. It may have not stopped bubbling, but that's quite fine. Then we are going to add sodium hydroxide, drop-wise, with shaking until no further change. So we are going to do the cation test again. So add a few drops, look out for PPT and the color of the PPT. You see there's a PPT, 30 green PPT, and then now I'm adding excess 3/4 tube. So 30 green PPT, insoluble in excess. The instruction says to continue to observe this tube. So I leave it at the rack, and I will remember to come back to take a look at it again. Next we go on to part E. We take that solution from part B, and then we take 1 to 2 cubic centimeters. And then now we add solution Y. One to 2 drops of solution Y. I get a brown solution again. But if we compare this to the solution we got in C part 2, we find that this solution in part E is a lighter shade than the brown solution in C part 2. So part E, I would say I get a pale brown or lighter brown solution in part E. Then I go back to part D, because I am supposed to observe what happens to the 30 green PPT upon standing. So upon standing, we will notice that the 30 green PPT would have changed color. 30 green PPT would become reddish brown PPT.